This essay example, as well as thousands of others, is available in text format on our website for free and without registration. Simply Google Ivy Panda Free Essays.
Introduction. Wires play an important role in transmitting electrical energy and signals between different locations. There are different types of wires that vary from one another depending on their characteristics and other physical aspects. This paper seeks to discuss the differences between fiber optic cables and coaxial cables, elaborating on the advantages and disadvantages of each type. Fiber optic cable. A fiber optic cable consists of either a plastic or a glass core, which conveys light enclosed within a glass cladding. Light is guided through the fiber owing to the lower refractive index of the material, as it also reflects the escaping light to the core. Advantages of fiber optic cables. Fiber optic cables have a limited signal loss for every unit distance covered. In this regard, this type of cable can cover long distances and have a limited effect on the quality of transmission. With high internet speeds being a factor for consideration in the contemporary world, fiber optic cable is more reliable because it maintains the signal. Fiber optic cables have a very high capacity, which means they can convey high data rates at any given time. Because of the cable's technology that uses light, the cable is also able to transmit at high speeds. This makes it more reliable and efficient than other cable types. Fiber optic cables are also immune to external interference, which improves further on their reliability. Vibrations and other noises have little effect on the performance of the cable. Disadvantages. These cables are expensive compared to other types of cables. The materials used in the manufacture of fiber optic cables are costly and only made to measure. This is particularly typical of any new technologies. The general vulnerability of fiber optic cables to strain and temperatures affects the performance quality of this type of cable. This affects the output signals because of the inherent errors. Coaxial cable. Coaxial cables comprise a core wire, as well as an interwoven foil material that covers the inner wire. An insulating material that covers the central lying wire separates these conducting materials. Another insulator covers the outer foil. Advantages of coaxial cables. This cable is cheaper than the fiber optic cable and, thus, it is highly affordable. Most mid-size offices and residential areas can acquire this cable for their internet needs. Coaxial cables can be used for different purposes. This increases their overall usefulness. Among the numerous uses of this type of cable include transmitting voice, data, as well as video signals. The cables are also easy to install around buildings. Disadvantages of coaxial cables. Coaxial cables are damaged easily. This affects the convenience aspect, while also adding costs in terms of repairs and new acquisitions. Installing thick coaxial cable is an expensive exercise, particularly where it is required to be pulled in between existing cable conduits. Coaxial cables work with connectors, which can be costly to acquire. Conclusion. Fiber optic and coaxial cables are used in performing the same roles, especially in transmitting data and signals. Their use has mainly increased with the advent of the Internet. Fiber optic cables can carry a large capacity of data at very high rates. They are also least affected by external interferences, such as noise or vibration. Coaxial cables, on the other hand, are less expensive and can easily be worked with during installation. However, fiber optic cables are expensive to acquire and vulnerable to stress interference. Coaxial cables on their part are susceptible to damage and their thicker versions are difficult to install. This essay on the advantages and disadvantages of fiber optic cable versus coaxial cable was written and submitted by a student just like you. The Ivy Panda Samples database hosts thousands of works similar to this one, on various subjects. Visit ivypanda.com to find what you are looking for.